from EC to ECP. So those things we have given, and what are the content we are going to cover, what are the topic we are going to cover. Yesterday we discussed about demo class. So today onwards it will be regular classes. So we can start with step by step. So here the content whatever updated here, this should be sequence level. So what are the settings we need to be done, EC level, Employee Central, and what are the settings which required in the provisioning level, and what are the settings required in the ECP level in order to get the P2P replication as well as data flow into EC to ECP. So this is the content which is sequentially we maintain here. So now we can see here SuccessFactors ECP Introduction. And what is Employee Central Payroll? Yesterday we have given that regarding that Employee Central Payroll, and today we are going to discuss about Employee Central Implementation Methodology. What type of methodology they are going to use in implementation, and what is the release management, how it could be release management when compared to SAP HR, and the terminology in ECP and EC. Because when it comes to this terminology, it is more important when you go for customer to get the client requirement and during the workshops also. So let's start with what is Employee Central Payroll. I think most of the people yesterday joined, only few people not joined. Just I will recollect just 2 minutes about Employee Central Payroll. So when it comes to Employee Central Payroll, we all know that SAP HR is on-premise system. The same payroll driver, the same schema, everything is native of SAP HR payroll only. So when it comes to Employee Central Payroll is basically, it is a cloud-based system where SAP will take care of all data centers and system maintenance and the infrastructure, everything. It is just put into cloud, and they have given very innovative features where they have given EC as a employee master data record. It is like a system of record for employee level. So all hiring, all firing, and the master data changes, everything will be done in Employee Central. That will be moved to Employee Central Payroll. So the core functionalities, whatever I am saying, that the schema level, payroll driver level, and the core functionalities and the reports, standard T codes, everything is the same when it comes to EC Payroll, Employee Central Payroll. It is just a replica of SAP HR and incorporated in cloud market. So it is integrated with EC. The integration also, as I told you yesterday, they have given P2P interface, standard interface. It will be inbuilt automatically. We need not to do any much integration on that. And apart from that, they have given like innovative tools like Payroll Control Center, PCC, where you can automate your payroll. So the major difference between on-premise payroll and cloud payroll, on-premise payroll does not have any innovative tools like PCC Payroll Control Center, and when it comes to employee view and all, it is not like Fiori based. When it comes to Employee Center, it is all Fiori based. As I told yesterday, we need not to remember any T codes, transaction codes, and path, everything. You just type in the admin center in the search box, wherever you want to go, you can get that immediately. So that is the basically Employee Central overview. So now coming to SF implementation methodology, this is more important. So when it comes to implementation, it is not like that earlier days when it comes to employees, SAP HR, we used to have business blueprint. Okay, we called it as SAP methodology, but the same terminology, they came with latest method, we called as a SAP Activate Methodology. So what is mean by SF Activate Methodology? So when it comes to SAP Activate Methodology, they came with 4 type of phases. One is a preparation phase. I will just present that. Okay. So this is the method where SAP follow, be it is SuccessFactors core models, meaning that Employee Central or LMS or onboarding or PMGM or recruitment, whatever model it is. When it comes to SuccessFactors, all they follow only SF Activate methodology, which includes EC Payroll. And this method is used by globally. It is not country specific like India, US, different method they will use. Across the globe, they are using SAP Activate methodology. This is the latest methodology which SAP is using across all product, not only related to project setup. When I say project setup, getting resource, what is the model we are going to implement, and system assignment. When you go for SAP ECP implementation, there would be three-tier architecture. One is the development system, another one is a quality system, the third one is the production system. So it is like like SAP HR only. There is no system infrastructure change here. Here also three-tier architecture only. Once we done the configuration from development, it will move to quality to production. Same concept here also. So in the preparation phase, generally we set up the project team who are all going to do what models, and what are the team size, what are the deadline for this, how many, what are the timings. Is it a 6 months implementation or a 4 months implementation or a 8 months implementation? How many countries we are going to implement? So everything will be deeply discussed in preparation phase, and the project setup would be completed in this particular phase. And now moving to explore phase. So generally this particular phase we are discussing with the client and getting requirement in the form of workshops. We call it workshops. During the workshops, we can get all requirements from the client. Okay, what are the client requirement, and we can also see what is the current existing system configuration, and what are the client requirement, and we can see that what is the solution for that, and is there any gaps during the implementation. Okay, whatever we are getting from the client requirement, first we need to see that what is feasibility, what is not feasible. If it is not feasible, what is the workaround for that, and is there any gaps which cannot be accommodated through implementation, and those things we need to identify. And sprint plan. Okay, so how we can do that phase by phase. Okay, like iteration wise, first iteration what we can take, second iteration what we can take, third what we can take, what should be the priority initially. So those things will be defined in the exploring phase. It is just only to explore that. Okay, and moving to realization phase. So basically in this particular phase, it is exclusively only for configuration. So mainly when it comes to realization, it is nothing but configuration. But here we need to make sure that whenever you want to start the realization, meaning that configuration, whatever you are getting the requirement from the client, that should be sign off in the form of workbook. We are going to discuss workbook in the next session. So whatever you have gathered requirement in the workbook, that should be sign off from the client. So without sign off, you should not start the configuration, because the reason is you got the requirement, you will start the configuration. Again, client will say that this is not my requirement, something different. So again, you have to rework. So in order to avoid the rework, we need to go with realization with the sign off workbook, so that everything would be updated in the workbook, and you also have the sign off from the client, so that it will be good for you also, so that the rework can be avoided. So first we can do the configuration. As soon as you do the configuration iteration level, first say suppose you want to implement, that we are in the implementation of ECP. So you can start that what are the EC settings you have, and the ECP settings you have. Whatever you configure, you can show to client phase by phase. Okay, this is what we have done. Is it okay? This is what we created, pay component, nothing but wage types. And this is what we created, options type. In EC we call it as a time type. So everything we need to describe with the client, so that they will also align with, okay, so yeah, you have taken correct requirement. This is what we are getting percentage for tax information. Everything we need to show them. That is what we can show in the realization phase. We can do configuration, and we can give it to demo to client. Again, we can get the requirement, any changes, again we start. That is called, they call it as walkthrough. Walkthrough means you have done something, just we need to show to client. And once configuration is completed, then we need to move to data migration. So during the data migration, we need to provide the template. When it comes to SAP, since yesterday we discussed that all global templates we have, we need to just download and import it. The templates are not country specific, it is globally. Wherever you go, the same template you can use that. So during the data migration, we need to see that all values are coming. That all configuration is completed. Any drop-down values missing. Everything we need to take care, and we need to download the template. Just we need to give one of the employee sample reference values, how it should be the template, how we need to prepare. Just one sample employee we need to give to client so that they can update the template. They can import the template in the system. So generally, when it comes to data migration, till quality we can do that. In development, if you want to import, you can do that, and quality also you can import. But when it comes to production, that is purely responsible to only client only, because since it is production data, you have to give it to only client on. That would be a better suggestion from the SAP also. We should not import production data into live system. Sometimes some customers may not accept, they will give to us. That is rare cases, but generally they have to do these data migration activities. And end-to-end testing. So in quality itself, we need to do end-to-end testing, because when it move to production system, before moving to production system, we need to check thoroughly for all scenarios, be it is integration testing, be it is unit testing, everything we need to check properly, from the unit testing to integration testing. I cannot say that only configuration we need to test, because you know that when it comes to ECP, it is integrated model. It is data is coming from EC to ECP, and from ECP it is going posting to S4HANA or ECC SAP HR, and cost centers are coming from S4HANA to ECP. Integration tools, okay, there are many integration from ECP to you want to send any data to third party, many things, okay. So we can say here configuration testing and functionality testing, integration testing with other model, and API setting, API integrations, anything. So everything we need to test thoroughly. Then only we need to move to production. Once all scenarios is tested, any bugs we found, we need to correct it in the quality phase itself. In quality only we need to correct. So everything is fine, then we can move to production. So moving to production, there is a mandatory, whatever you have done configuration in quality, from development to quality, all you have to make it on an Excel sheet with, we call it the TR. The TR means transport. So whatever you do configuration in SAP HR, it will create on TR request. The TR will have all configuration. That you need to make sure that with the sequence, what is the sequence of TRs, and once everything is completed, then we need to send it to basis team or security team to move that TRs to production system. So once it is moved to production system, then we can take the live data and we can import it to production system. So between there is a cutover activities. Cutover activities is nothing but the system is ready for importing all data or not. So we need to check everything. So all payroll areas are created, all locations are created, everything, okay, all wage types are created, all options types are created. Everything we need to make sure that when it comes to production, because once the configuration is moved to production, then we need to import the data. So if the configuration is not there in the system, production system, whatever you are importing data, it will not go and update. Like best example, say suppose one of the employees working Hyderabad, there is a location called Hyderabad, but the Hyderabad location you have not yet created in production system. So I mean the development to quality, quality to production, it is not there. So obviously when you're importing, the system will show that this location Hyderabad does not exist in the system. The same way you are importing salary for the employee, say suppose basic HRA, conveyance, CCA, whatever it is. Some of the components not updated in the system. So obviously you will get the wage type is does not exist in the system. So please have a look on that. The same way like a drop down. Drop down means it can be anything like marital status, male or female, address type, permanent address, contact address, temporary address. It can be anything drop down value. If the drop down values are not appearing in the system, so obviously we'll get error saying that this particular value is not exist in the system. So everything we need to check thoroughly, then only we need to move to production. That is called cutover activity. So during the cutover activity, we need to have many things, okay? So background jobs are scheduling properly, all payroll areas are updated, and posting periods are open, and wage types all existing, whatever client has given, everything is updated, options type, all actions like hiring, termination, transfer, data change, all updated in the system. Everything we need to take care of. So once everything is finalized, then we can go for go live. So go live is nothing but just you are giving your product to client where the client can use that system thoroughly. the daily activities. This is called the overall process which involved in the SAP Activate Methodology. There are only just 4 phases. Each phase describes the respective modeling, like prepare, explore, realize, deploy. It is very sequence, this one. Okay. And which is very most important when it comes to ECP customers. There are certain tasks which need to be followed by customers. We generally say that ECP, Employee Central Payroll is cloud system, and all system infrastructure, all data center, everything will be taken care by SAP. Yes, absolutely right. That is, the statement is very right. But however, there are certain customer activities as a customer you need to take care of before implementation. That when you start the implementation, so as soon as you start the implementation, these requirements should be fulfilled by the customer. Otherwise, we cannot start implementation for ECP. And what are those? So this is most important. So you can see here, post customer bought the SAP license. So meaning that, okay, so before buying SAP license, say suppose that today you just bought the ECP license. So you have got all requirement and you started implementation. But in order to start the implementation, as a customer, you have to follow like this. So once you bought the license, obviously there is a concept called welcome email. So meaning that you just paid all license fees to SAP for ECP along with, when I say ECP, ECP license will include EC also. Without EC, Employee Central, there is no ECP. So whenever you are planning to buy ECP, the cost of EC, Employee Central, which will be included in the ECP itself. So you will get the bundle. ECP means which includes EC as well as PCC, Payroll Control Center, and anyhow the integration tool P2P, point-to-point application, it will be inbuilt automatically. So as I said yesterday in the demo class, ECP equal to EC plus P2P plus PCC. So combination of EC, P2P, PCC equal to, we call it as a ECP, Employee Central Payroll. So as soon as you buy the system, this bundle will be included in the total cost. So now today you bought the ECP system. So what is the next? So as soon as you get the system, because you are not having any URL, you are not having any username password. So how we can start the implementation without having login details? So there is a concept called welcome email. As soon as you buy the system from the ECP, immediately, today you bought the system, after 2 days or 3 days, you will get the welcome email. The welcome email coming from the SAP commercial department, where you can get in the welcome mail all your system URLs. System URLs means when it comes to ECP, as I told, it is 3-tier architecture, which includes development, quality, production. All these 3 URL, you will get the mail saying that, hi customer, please find below your system URLs along with client ID, along with the system ID, and which includes the initial username, the initial password. So this is most important. As soon as you pay the system, the ECP license fee, even if you are not getting any welcome mail within the 5 days or 7 days, you have to contact to SAP saying that we already bought the system, but we have not yet received welcome email. So welcome email means which includes your URL details, your system details, what is your system ID, and what is your initial password, what is your initial username. So all this will come through welcome email. So once you get the welcome email, the most important thing is here, whatever you are getting the username, password, it will be expired automatically within the 15 days, 15 working days. So as a security guy in the client side, they have to take that initial password, they have to change immediately and give to ECP consultant, whoever required. So in the ECP team, you have 2 people or 3 people. As a security guy, as soon as you get the URL, the customer has to forward to their security people so that they can change username and password, give it to ECP consultant, those who are in the implementation side. Along with, if client want, core team members also, they can also have that. Okay, they can also create for them also. And make sure that it should be reset password within the 15 days of time. Otherwise, it will be lapsed. And what we need to do, if it is exceeding 15 days, again, we need to go to SAP Launchpad. We need to create ticket and we need to mention that whatever we got the password, it got expired. We didn't do any action within 15 days. So please reset password. Again, SAP will give the new password for that. So better to avoid those things so that you can save 15 days time. I mean that the avoid time. Okay. And the most important thing is when it comes to ECP, though it is a cloud where you can just simply log into system through URL, because the URL, whatever you are having the URL, SAP URL, it does not have any security level, because even you can take URL, you can just log into web page, you can log in. I can also just put into web, I can log in. So there is no security level. So in order to secure that, the URL can be given only initially 15 days or 20 days only to the client. It is up to client. Okay, if client don't want to take any security measures, then SAP will not bother. But generally, SAP prefer 15 to 20 days of the starting configuration. But after 1 month, definitely you should go with VPN. VPN means, you know, right? Okay. So it is very secure level. Now, recently SAP came with SNC, because till last month, meaning till July 31st of 2022, there is a concept called VPN. Okay, I think most of the people know VPN, which is security level. Okay, but now SAP came up with new technology, SNC. It was there earlier, but till July they were accepting VPN connection to ECP clients. But now there is no VPN. There is no VPN for ECP customers. They have to connect to SNC, Secure Network Communication. This is SAP platform, SAP secured object. So you have to connect to SNC only. So with, I think 1st of August 2022, every customer should incorporate only SNC only, no more VPN going forward. And why this is required? Because as I told, SAP ECP is a cloud system where you can access anywhere you can access. But however, there are certain configuration without VPN. Without VPN, you cannot connect to SAP system. I mean that ECP system. So the thing there are certain things which is which is important for this ECP connectivity through VPN. The first one is payslip. So if you do not install SNC in our system, then the payslip modification, whatever you want to do, payslip modification, you cannot do. However, you can have that payslip, whatever SAP is giving standard payslip, that you can have it without having VPN also. If you are happy with SAP payslip, you need not to install SAP VPN, I mean that SNC. But you want to do some modification. Some payslips, you want to have right side some fields, left side some fields, alignment should be different, properties you need to change, form you need to edit some flexible way to appear good. So those things without VPN you cannot do any modification. So 100% we should have VPN. Without VPN we cannot start implementation. We can start implementation, but all the work will be pending again. So better to have, before implementation of ECP, better to have everything in the place of like system URLs and the username password, initial password, and VPN setup. Everything should be proper, so that you can easily get into implementation. No need to wait system perspective. Okay. And the final one is user ID creation. So as a customer, you have to provide your SAP ECP consultant user ID. So user ID means this is basically SAP user ID. Why it is required? So it is required, say suppose you are on the implementation side, you are getting some technical issues. System is not allowing to enter anything, or else the system is giving some dump, system is giving some error. So obviously you can have support with SAP. So in order to meet client, I mean that SAP, you have some path, okay, that we call it the SAP Launchpad. By Launchpad, we can connect SAP saying that we have received the URL is not working. Please have a look on that. Then they will take that. For that, you should have user ID. So every person should have user ID, those who are working in the ECP implementation. So basically, this will be given by client. So the process would be, as soon as a customer bought the ECP license, SAP will give the one URL link to create a user ID for client side. SAP will not create user ID because there are lakhs of client. Okay, they cannot create lakhs of client for user ID. So what they will do, there is a software called administration software that they give to client, where SAP will give all authorizations to client. Client can create number of users in that system. So that's way SUSE ID will work. So once you get the SUSE ID, you can start implementation. You can start the implementation whenever you are getting any issues. You can raise SAP so that SAP will resolve the issues. So this is overall customer need to be taken care. All these activities, whatever I just explained from top to bottom, all these activities should be taken care by SAP. I mean customer client side. SAP will not involve any of the point here. Just only SAP will send the only URL only. Remaining setup and all you have to take care of. Okay. Team, do you have any questions regarding this SAP Activate Methodology and customer task, anything, so that we can move to next? Because this is very critical when it comes to Activate Methodology. As a ECP consultant, we should know thoroughly. Okay, so what need to be done in the explore phase, what need to be done in the realization phase and deployment phase, and prepare. See, when it comes to prepare phase, this is basically project manager activity. So no need to worry about that preparation phase. But when it comes to ECP consultant job, you have to align with explore to deployment. This is purely related to ECP consultant. And regarding customer task, if you have any doubts, you can have that so that it will be good. I think those who are coming from SAP background, SAP HR background, and those who are coming from SuccessFactors, EC or whatever model, they are familiar with all this terminology. But those who are coming from non-SAP background, they do not have any experience on SuccessFactors, not having experience on SAP HR, then they might confuse. So anybody have that? We can have that. Any questions?
This is Venu. What is the iterations? What we will do in the iterations?
Okay. So in SuccessFactors, they call it as the iteration. It is like a spin to pay. So what they will do, instead of taking all requirement, you can start all at a time. What they will do, first they will take which is very high priority. And they can divide that. Say suppose when it comes to SAP ECP, just to take ECP, Employee Central Payroll. So what are the configuration we require to do in ECP? First, what we can do? First, we can create the wage type. Okay. And once you complete the wage type, then you can start the actions. What are the actions we need to perform? Action means like a hiring, data change, termination, everything we need to take. So before that, we need to create the system, I mean that company infrastructure. So the sequence for ECP, first we need to define the company structure. What is the company code? And what are the next sequence? We need to define the personal structure. And we need to define the pay structure. And we need to create the wage type. Then we need to go for action. Finally, we need to go for options type. Then we need to go for any custom development and integration, and anything rule need to be written. So these are the steps. Okay. So now we have 7 steps. One is company structure, one is the person structure, one is the pay structure, one is the wage type structure, and the fifth one is option structure, and finally integration. I mean that third party integration, posting, all this sequence, right? In this particular sequence, in the iteration 1, what you want to take care of. So iteration is nothing but just you are grouping together one particular important folder. With that you can do the configuration. It is not that you are taking all requirement. You cannot do at a time everything, right? So whatever requirement you are taking, you are splitting that. Okay, I have taken 10 requirement from the client. So these are the 10 requirement I need to fulfill. But which is the high priority? Which is their dependency for other model. So if I do this particular configuration, then only other person can do remaining configuration. Otherwise they cannot do. So that is called iteration. Iteration means whatever you have got the requirement, to prioritize the requirement. So based on that you can do. So maximum we can take in SuccessFactors 2 iteration or 3 iteration. So within the 3 iteration, they can bifurcate. Okay, first iteration, I can define the company structure. I can define the person structure. I can define the pay structure. Okay, first iteration. Once first iteration is completed, whatever you created, company structure, person structure, employee wage type structure, everything, just you have to have a demo with client saying that customer, we have created this company, we created this many location, person area, person sub area, employee group, employee subgroup, wage type. Just let me know, is there any deviation on that? Okay, client will see the demo, again he will do the feedback. That whatever they're going to give the feedback, that you can incorporate in the next iteration. So first is completed, everything is fine. Now moving to second iteration. During the second iteration, you will take that client feedback, you can incorporate again in the second iteration. So like that, you can complete within the 3 iterations. So whatever requirement you have, 12 requirement, you will bifurcate into 4 requirement first iteration, 4 requirement to second iteration, remaining 4 into third iteration, so that it will be completed. Iteration is nothing but just you are grouping together all the activity on one particular important folder. What need to be done? What? That is called iteration.
Okay.
It is just only grouping of your activities, nothing else. Okay, you have total activity. You know very well as a ECP consultant what need to be done. You cannot do directly PCR initially, right? Because you don't have any system configuration in the system. You cannot do any PCRs, right? The same way, you want to start the integration with other model, FIC or whatever it is. Without creating, you cannot start the integration, right? I mean that without creating wage type, without creating symbolic account, without creating GL account, you cannot map anything in the FI system, right? So all this, whatever important things which we need to do, that will be covered in the iteration, grouping of all activities.
Got it, Rohit. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions from anybody regarding this customer task and activate methodology? Because this is more important. Configuration we can do. Okay, we can go to directly a system. We can see that what type of configuration we need to do, where we need to go. That anyhow we will come to know. But the conceptual knowledge. Okay, even when you go any interview, the first question they will ask, what is mean by activate methodology, and what are the phases you have, which phase you involved in that activate methodology, and what are the tasks to be taken by client, because many people don't know ECP, because there is a misconception. Okay, we'll have SAP HR, we have ECP, we can copy SAP HR all configuration, we can move it to ECP, or else we have SAP HR one side, we have ECP HR one side, we can have it. It is not like that. So make sure that when the customer is moving to ECP, Employee Central Payroll, no more SAP HR, no more. It is just only, it is like just a dummy box only. There is no use of that. Only you can keep it only for historical data purpose. That historical data, if you are not moving to ECP, say suppose you have 10 years data in SAP HR, but just only for 5 years data you are moving to SAP ECP, remaining 5 years you are not going to move to anywhere in the system. So only the 5 years data, if you want to see anytime, for that only you can have it. But there is no relation between SAP HR to ECP. Everything is new. When client is moving to ECP Employee Central Payroll, just whatever they are using earlier, it is just no more. Everything re-implementation. It is like SAP HR. How you start the SAP HR implementation? The same way you have to start ECP implementation. You have to create everything. You have to create everything, and you have to import the data, existing employee data. Everything is same. There is no use of SAP HR after you start with ECP. And make sure that ECP Employee Central Payroll is not something different SAP HR Payroll. Okay, it is just a copy of SAP HR. Along with that, there are many innovative features which is incorporated in ECP, and it is a direct integration tool from EC to ECP. Okay. So I think all are clear about this, right? SAP Activate Methodology and what need to be taken from the client side, what task client need to be performed before we are moving to ECP implementation. And in the same side, you can also have that authorization. That is also more important, because now you got the system, you got the URL, you got the username, password, you have already installed VPN connection, and what else? The final is authorization. If you don't have any SPRO, so everything should be in place. Authorization, username, password, URL, VPN connection, SUS ID, that is also more important. So then you can start the implementation. Then there would not be any delays because sometimes without having, say suppose you don't have SVs ready, okay, and you don't have VPN, and you are starting configuration, there is some discrepancy. You want to raise it to SAP, you don't have SVs ready. So you have to wait until it creates. It will take another 1 week. So during the project time, say suppose you have given project time 6 months, obviously 10 days is gone because of your lack of knowledge, because you didn't get that SVs ready. The same way VPN, because VPN setup is, so going forward, don't call it the VPN. I will pronounce as a SNC only. So secure network communication. You have not installed SNC. So what will happen? You cannot start payslip configuration. Whenever you are doing any development, you cannot debug the system. Okay. And there are many things. Okay. So it is always good that everything should be synced with system setup and including authorization, so that your implementation will be fast, and definitely you can reach the deadline. Whatever client is giving the deadline, be it is 6 months or be it is 4 months, according to project plan, you can achieve that. Unnecessarily, it will be lapse otherwise days.
SNC means, is it like our 40 client or something like that? Who will take care of this SNC activation?
Correct. So SNC is, I think you are very familiar with VPN, right? VPN.
Exactly, yes.
It is exactly copy of VPN. So VPN is some third party, but when it comes to SNC is secure network communication. This is designed by SAP itself.
Okay.
So instead of going VPN, you are going SNC, which is more securable compared to VPN. That is what SAP is saying. Why we need to move to SNC? If customer is asking, they are saying that compared to VPN, this is more secure.
Is this again licensed one? Yes, again licensed one. Or inbuilt with the ECP license, they will get this SNC.
It is inbuilt. It is inbuilt. So as soon as you get the SAP, I mean that once you pay the licensing fees for ECP, you will get ECP along with EC, along with P2P, along with PCC, including SNC. But in order to implement SNC, secure network communication, it is not that only the client side, the security people can do installation, because the client side security person should know what the router ID, what is the router, and what is the IP address for the data center. Okay, you know, right? Data center. I think yesterday we discussed about data centers also.
Yes.
SAP will take our data center is nothing but one server. Okay, the server can be accommodated in the specific location group, like India, we call it Asia. If you go Middle East, they have Abu Dhabi and I think Abu Dhabi only they have. One more place also I will let you know that. Okay. If you go Australia, Sydney, like that, data centers. Okay, but this is whenever we want to set up SNC, secure network communication, it is a combination of SAP team as well as client security team.
Yeah, nothing from our side. Consultant.
No. Consultant level, you need not to worry about that. Only the thing is you have to send reminders to client saying that without SNC we cannot start implementation. Okay. So that way it will be good, because we have seen many implementation. It took almost 2 months time to set up that, because of lack of knowledge. Okay, so how to contact, how to get it done. So we have to clearly inform that SNC setup can be done with the help of SAP. You have to raise it to SAP saying that we need to do the SNC setting. Please provide what is the new IP address. Okay, internet protocol. What is the IP address in order to set up the router? Because the thing is, your security person can create the router. Okay. But whenever you are creating a router, the router will ask mandatory field is IP address. Without IP address, a security person cannot configure router, SAP router. So all these things you have to get it done before doing this.
Okay. Thank you.
So SNC nothing but VPN only. Just it is security purpose. That's all, nothing else. Because SAP is the cloud, right? ECP is the cloud. If you have URL, you can also log in. If I have URL, I can also log in. Then where is the security? Okay. For that, they're insisting this SNC. Why I took almost 1 hour for implementation methodology? This is very, very important, and especially customer tasks. As a ECP consultant, what are the customer tasks? That we should know that. Okay. Otherwise, the implementation will be slow. I mean that if you're not getting a requirement, I mean that if you're not getting SNC setups, if you're not getting properly yes user IDs, and if you're not getting username password, you don't have any authorization, obviously the days will be consumed, right? You are giving client and it will be labs. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. I will share you the PPT. So my plan is as soon as I complete the session, okay, we can consolidate the PPT so we can send it to. Say suppose today I'm discussing about methodology, I can share that the respective PPT so that you will not forget. So just have a view on that before coming to next session, so that you can recap all that, so that it will be sequence level. And coming to SAP Release Management, it won't take much time. So another 5 to 10 minutes we can complete. So there is a concept called Release Management. How about SAP HR? I mean that ECC on-premise system, we call it as a support pack level, right? So support pack level means which is the latest support pack level where you will get all new features. The same way they called it as a release management. In release management, earlier it was like 3 months. So every 3 months they were releasing new features in the product, be it is a SuccessFactor, be it is ECP. So it is global, okay? It is not that ECP they will release 3 months once, SuccessFactor they will release six months once. No, it is same only across the globe. Now they move to from 3 months to they move to off yearly. So now every 6 months they will give the enhancement, the system enhancement for ECP, for SuccessFactor, any model, they're going to give the new features in the release management. So that is once in a 6 months. So in the 6 months, you'll get all new features, and there are many things, okay, they call it the global features, which you don't have any control. Automatically, those features will be deployed automatically your system without your notice. So there is a concept called development and quality. They will give one particular date, okay, and production they will give one particular date, because they cannot deploy all new features directly in the production. So what they will do, 1 month before they will deploy all new features in the development system. So you have development system, quality system, production system. You can go with the development and quality. Some may have only development and production. So they call it the development quality, both are same system only. See, generally when it comes to ECP, there should be 3 tier architecture: development, quality, production. Okay, so obviously every customer will have 3 systems. So what SAP is saying that you cannot go directly production all new features. First do in development and quality, just thoroughly test, and you can go with production. So that is what they are giving. Any features they are deploying in the system, there is a 1 month gap from production to non-production systems. Okay, so with that we can decide. Okay, so there are some global features you don't have any control, that will be deployed even if you're not interested. There are some admin option where you can decide this particular feature is required for me or not. You can decide that. If you don't want to have that, you can just ignore. But when it comes to global features, okay, so you don't have any option on that. SAP will do that. Like the best example I can say SNC. Yes, secure network communication, right? If one client says that I will use VPN, I don't want SNC, SAP will not do that. Okay, without SNC, you cannot log into system. They will stop that disability. I mean that system access they will not give. Okay, so like that there are some global features and admin options that you can have that. Okay, that is called release management. And the last SF terminology. So this is very, very most important, because now we are moving from SAP HR background to ECP, Employee Central Payroll. Okay, and Employee Central Payroll is integrated model. Integrated model cell in SAP HR, you have OMPA time payroll, everything in the same product. I mean that ECC SAP HR. But when it moved to ECP, Employee Central Payroll, all OM and PA time move to EC, Employee Central. So now we have, instead of working one system earlier, now we are working 2 systems, which is fully integrated. You need not to worry about that, how we can configure everything. System will take care of all based on the P2P, only with the minimum configuration we require on the EC side and the ECC side. Okay. So since it is integrated model, we should know that what is the terminology they are using. EC, Employee Central is, they are using different terminology. ECP, we are using different terminology. As I told, ECP is, it is just a replica of SAP HR. So they are not going to change the ECP terminology with the same as like EC, because EC came with the last 10 years or 11 years back, but SAP is almost 35 years, more than 35 years. So having that much experience, 35 years, the terminology, they cannot change it to EC. However, they call it EC. So they kept as it is. ECP, whatever you have terminology in SAP HR, as it is same, so that people will not confuse those who are coming from SAP HR. And EC, there is a new terminology for the same. So what they're giving, you just know that what is the terminology between EC and ECP, so that when you're going to customer, okay, and when you're involving to ECP, EC consultant, you can explain them, okay. So for that, you should know that what is the terminology between ECP and EC. Yesterday demo, I think we have given slot on that. I think yesterday I showed that EC terminology. Not detail yesterday. I just mentioned that this is the terminology. Okay. Anyhow, this slide I will send you that. Okay. Here you can see the terminology. What is ECP field? What is EC field? Okay. Now you can see here in SAP HR, meaning ECP, Employee Central Payroll, we call it as the employee group. Employee group is nothing but the type of employees we are clubbing together, who have same payroll area, who have same pay date. That we call as a employee subgroup. We can define that like active or group of employees. We can say employee group is nothing but just we are grouping employees. Say suppose we have 1,000 employees, we are grouping 5,000 employees as a salary employees, 2,000 employees we call as a retired employees, and you can bifurcate that. So the same terminology in Employee Central, they call it as the employee class. Okay, so in ECP we call it the employee group. The same terminology they call it the employee class. So we have to remember, whenever you speak with the EC consultant or EC consultant is talking to ECP consultant, you should know each other. Okay, EC consultant should know what is ECP field, and ECP consultant should know what is the EC field. But necessarily as a ECP consultant, we should know what is EC field, because no need to learn EC consultant ECP field, because we are implementing ECP. So we should know what is there in EC, how we need to accommodate here. So whatever they are creating employee class in EC, say suppose I'm a EC consultant, I just created employee class, I just created employment type, I just created event and eventation, frequency, job location, everything. So what you need to consider in ECP, see generally the implementation, SAP best practice, simultaneously and together we need to start the implementation, meaning that SAP EC also will start, SAP ECP also will start, so that we can have discussion, okay, what employee class you are going to create, what employment type you are going to create. The same you can create in ECP, because always the code, external code, whatever you are going to create employee class external code, whether it is 2-digit or 4-digit or 1-digit, the same you have to configure even ECP also, so that there is no one-to-one mapping. So the one-to-one mapping you can avoid, like employee class. So if I say employee class, okay. So what I'm saying here, if I say employee class, okay, this is ECP, this is EC. ECP, okay. So say suppose you created salary, employee class in EC, you have given 01 coding. This is the external code, okay. And you created terminated employees, you have given 02. Okay. Now this is what they created in EC. Now when you want to create ECP, exactly same, you just copy paste here. Don't create different things. So in this case, as per the P2P, as per the P2 point per application, you need not to map one-to-one. System will understand, okay, EC it is 01, ECP also 01, then it will take automatically the integration. How it will take integration? In order to recognize EC, so you are creating now pay component. A pay component is nothing but wage type in SAP HR. In EC, they call it as a pay component. Now, you created basic. You created, the code is 1000. Okay, HRA 2000 or 1001. Okay. Now, when it comes to ECP, exactly copy paste again. So that is what we are saying. If EC and ECP both are together configuring, you can sit ECP consultant, you can get that all requirement. Okay, what you are going to configure, just send me the mail. So what EC consultant will do, whatever he created, pay component, wage type, I mean that pay component, employee class, employment type, okay, and time type is nothing but options type in SAP HR. Everything you will put into Excel sheet, he will send to you. Hi ECP consultant, I have created pay component like this, I have created time type like this, you just create it. So very simple, just you can copy and you can paste into our SPRO configuration. So that no mapping is required. But basically he created, EC consultant created 1000, but you are creating 1006 as a external code. Then how the system will know? So in this case, we need to do manually, one-to-one. Okay, EC 1000 component equal to my ECP 1006. Like that, we need to do mapping. So it is very risky. So if EC consultant created 500 wage type and you are creating 500 wage type ECP, both the codes are different. 500 times you have to do code map. I mean that define mapping. 500 times you have to do field mapping, which is not required if you do same in ECP. You just copy paste here when you create wage type in OH11. So everything should be same. Everything should be same. Not only I am saying employee group, employee subgroup, all, be it is employee class, be it is employment type. You can see here, I clearly given in EC employee class what we call in ECP. Event, in EC event, we call it a personal action. Okay. In EC, we call it as location, we call it as a person area. Pay component, we call it as wage type. Pay group, which is most important for payroll, EC payroll. Pay group, we call it as a payroll area. Options types, we call it the time types. Time account type, options quotas. Document types, we call it person IDs, like 105. So these are the very key point, okay. As a ECP consultant, just you have to by heart it, okay. ECP consultant should by heart it all this. Employee class, okay. So employee class means, okay, for us employee group. Employment type means, okay, it is for us employee subgroup. Event reason for action type. Event, person action. Only this only, just only I think about 10 to 13 only, not more than that. Okay. Any doubts, team, you have regarding this terminology?
Yeah, Ravi, I have one question. So when we are there, sometimes there is a limitations with respect while we creating the employee group in ECP and employee class in SuccessFactors. We need to say, so there might be the, let's take an example of permanent is the description, which is having the background code as 3 digits in EC system.
Perfect.
Wherein our ECP system, it allows only one digit.
Exactly. Correct. You are perfect. Okay. That is a really valid question. Okay. So in this particular case only, we'll go with custom extension. That is what I am saying. I mean that code value mapping. So you are saying it is basic 1000, but when it comes to ECP, you are creating 1006 because of so many reasons, because it is not accepting, like employee class, okay. Employee class, employee group in EC, it will allow more than 4 character, 10 character also, but when it comes to ECP, you have only 1 character, right?
Exactly.
So in that case only we need to do mapping.
Okay.
Only few cases. Wherever
but
it is not.
In SF level, they can follow the codes what we can provide. If they follow, in such cases, maybe field-to-field mapping might not required.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as a ECP consultant, that is what I'm saying. Before implementation of ECP, okay, always it will be good to have both model at the same time. We need to explain to client, boss, if you want to implement ECP, start with ECP as well together. So that what you can do as a ECP consultant, you can have call with the EC consultant, boss, wage type, meaning in ECP we have 4-digit code only. Please don't create more than 4 character. But ECP, EC, the wage type, I mean that pay component type, it will allow more than 4 character.
Yes.
But ECP, it will allow only 4 characters. That is numeric only, right?
Yeah.
It is not alphanumeric.
Yes.
Okay. So those things you can explain to EC consultant. So when EC consultant creating wage type, I mean that pay component type, he will make sure that, okay, it should be 4-digit only. I can create only 4-digit only.
Yes.
Or else the best what you can do, during the ECP implementation, you know that you came from SAP background. I mean that SAP HR background, you know all, you might have implemented many projects, okay? You just create based on the client requirement, what is the wage type you required. You just give the number assignment on that, okay, 1,000, 1,001, 1,003. Just copy paste into EC consultant, okay? Boss, we need to plan all these pay component like this only. So what EC consultant will do, he will just copy and paste into pay component. I mean that there is a bulk upload. You can do that. So that it will be always synced. Or either way, our EC consultant can prepare all numeric code 4 character, I mean that with numeric value, he can provide to ECP consultant. But always suggestion is ECP consultant should involve with EC. Because EC consultant should, he may not know that what is ECP configuration, right?
True. They will create their own, and later it may get some duplicate of work for us to do that. To avoid such cases, maybe
exactly.
directly interact with EC consultant during
perfect.
implementation.
Then it will be good implementation. There is no replication issues. There is no code value mapping. There is no point. I mean that one-to-one mapping. It will be very good.
Yes, understand.
Okay. Only few cases SAP will be deviation. I mean that whatever you are saying, employee class and EC, it will allow more than 3. But here it will allow only 1 only. Yes, so always the best solution would be, as a ECP consultant, he should know pay component, okay, only 4 character. Cost center, only 10 character. Employee class, only 1 character. Okay. Yes. So if client insists EC make it 2 character, employee class, only employee class, then you can do that manual mapping. But we need to inform the customer, boss, you are saying 2 character, why you require 2 character? What is the problem having 1 character? It is just only external code only, right? Yes. Whatever you have, you can put into description. Description does not matter, right? Yeah. So if client is not listening, you have to explain, boss, if you are taking different code values from EC to ECP, you will get replication issues. That we will not take care of anything if you are following like this. So definitely client will listen, because he don't know ECP. Whatever you are saying, definitely 100% he will listen, because we are the person who is going to suggest to client, right? What is the best practice? So obviously everybody will listen. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think we are into over for 10 minutes more. Okay, so we can wind up the class. So today class. So just recap, today we just discuss about SAP Activate Methodology, how it could be, what are the phases, and the phase wise what need to do, and what are the customer activities need to be followed during the implementation of ECP, and what are the terminology we use, ECP and EC, and release management. Okay. So this is just only theoretical. Okay.